Okay. We'll continue with our Baen's. This, if you hang up the robe, look after it. When the sabong and jiwan are wet, if there's enough sun to dry them, then hang them out to dry. Take your sleeping gear, pillow, mosquito, net and mat. Set them out, air them out, and tap them to get any dust off. When these things are clean and dry, then gather them. Don't just leave your bathing cloth hanging out in the sun until late afternoon, only going to get it when you want to use it. It happens like this on robe washing day. Sometimes a jiwan that has been hanging out since the morning is still there late in the afternoon. When you have cloth requisites hanging outside, don't return to your kuti. If you have something that needs to be attended to at your kuti, then you can go. While at your kuti, remember to return and check on your robes and adjust them on the line. Where has it shrunk and where has it stretched? Flip it over and adjust it. When the cloth is dry, then make sure it's smooth, not wrinkled or with a crease from the clothesline. Try and get interested in this. I love the nuts and bolts of these details, and this is really kind of monastic training and paying attention to these details and just those like Ajahn Chah. Oftentimes you think of Ajahn Chah sitting up there spouting philosophy, and so often it was just learn how to look after your robes, learn how to look after your kuti, learn how to pay attention to keeping things clean and neat and tidy, and it sets a tone for keeping things. If you're keeping things orderly and paying attention to the details outside, it's a good opportunity for setting that tone inside. Like in order to pay attention to a meditation object in a consistent way, you have to have developed that habit of actually paying attention to things in a consistent manner. So these are important things. You sort of think, it's no big deal, but it is. Okay, the next one is called dyeing cloth just right. When dyeing robes, make the color so it's just right. Don't make it completely red or too dark or exclusively yellow. So what is just right? Just right is when it's easy to look at. This applies to all of our cloth requisites that we necessarily wear outside of our kuti. We should use a color that is not too light to make the cloth look just right and nice enough. This goes for the bathing cloth and any other cloth requisites, including the angsa. So in Thailand, that's that cloth that goes over the shoulder, covers the chest. Don't dye them too red or too yellow. In whatever we do, we should get to know the meaning of just right. Color is important. Don't say that the color isn't important. The Kruba Ajahn strongly emphasized this issue of dyeing robes and made efforts to look after the color. They tended to be really meticulous and exacting about it. One time during the cold season, a piece of thick cotton cloth, which already had some base color in it, accrued to a monk. Since it was thick cotton, he determined it for use as an angsa. He put it on and went to show Lumpu Gongma, who criticized it, saying, "Why is this angsa cloth so light?" One has to have a teacher. When dyeing new cloth, if it doesn't absorb all the dye and there is some left over, then put the leftover dye into some older cloth. New cloth isn't dirty, so don't just throw out the leftover dye from that new cloth. Pour it into a container or bucket, or pour it into a pot to boil it down. New cloth is still clean, so it's a shame if we throw out its leftover dye. Train yourself to be proficient in dyeing all types of cloth, in kneading the cloth, or in performing any other part of the process. You should have a teacher or Ajahn show you the ropes. How does he knead it? How does he scrub it? How does he wring it out and hang it up on the clothesline? Notice how your teacher does it. Teacher, quote-unquote teacher, means one who has done it before. So use your eyes to observe how he does it. Those who have done this before must know how to do it according to Dhamma Vinaya, so that they can set the example for others who are more junior. And that, I think it's an important aspect of just these fundamentals of the monastic life, that you're paying attention to how others are doing it, and paying attention to how people who are, it's just like one is sort of doing the robes, dyeing the robes, washing the robes, and then wearing the robes, and paying attention to how people do it, and that what does it look like, and pay attention to, because many just don't make it up on your own, because these are skills that are a lot of them, many of the ones of around just looking after the robes. Those are in the Vinaya texts 2,500 years ago, making sure that you wipe the line before you put another cloth on, just in case there's dye in the robe or there's dirt on the line, so that doesn't get on your robe. That's 2,500 years ago, the Buddha paying attention to that level of detail. And so just picking up on these little things, also that sense of not just sort of throwing your robe over the line, but coming up and placing it like that. And that's something that, again, is sort of in the Vinaya text, where the Buddha is trying to make, don't just sort of throw things or do something where it might get caught on something else. These little kind of attention to details is both in terms of protecting the requisites, but then also this cultivation of mindfulness that we both extend to the things around us, but then of course it starts to you start to internalize that process.